What's up, everybody? It's Jordan from the Sports Behind Show. In this video, I'm going to be doing a off-season preview for the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm going to be doing a free agency mock, a 3-round mock draft in PFF, and also be doing a record prediction for the Raiders this upcoming season based on the moves I did in this video. So let's go ahead and get started here. This past season, the Raiders were 6-11. Very, very disappointing season. Lots of people thought this team was easily going to be in the playoffs and maybe even could have been in contention to win the division this past year. That was definitely not the case at all. Derek Carr struggled with Devontae Adams as his, top wide receiver and everything. And when you start looking at this, Raiders team, obviously recently released Derek Carr. Some of the top team needs for the Raiders right now are a quarterback, linebacker, right tackle, and guard. According to Spotrac, they have about $46 million in cap space currently. It's interesting because, they don't have a quarterback anymore because Derek Carr is no longer on the team. Josh Jacobs led the NFL in rushing this past season. I do think it is possible that they do franchise tag him, but he's kind of voiced his frustrations that he has no intentions of wanting to play on the franchise tag. So that's also another dilemma that could be going on for the Raiders right now. You don't know the future of your top running back in Josh Jacobs, who just had an amazing season. So when you look at kind of some of these signings here, to me, aside from Jacobs, I don't think there's anybody, they have to re-sign on their team. But when you look at some of the signings here, I don't think they're trading for Aaron Rodgers. I think Rodgers is staying with the Packers. To me, their quarterback is obvious when you take out Rodgers from the equation, even though I don't think Rodgers is going here in the first place. I think it's Jimmy Garoppolo. I know this might be an unpopular opinion. I like this a ton. I think it makes so much sense. Jimmy Garoppolo spent time in New England with Josh McDaniels, the current head coach of the Raiders. There's already a major connection there. He was 7-3 at the start of this past season for the 49ers, 16 touchdowns, just 4 interceptions. He has a starting career record of 40-17. I know some people might not like him because he doesn't put up flashy numbers like Rodgers. He doesn't put up flashy numbers like Mahomes or Burrow or some of these guys, but he gets the job done. His winning percentage is extremely high. He has one of the most highest winning percentage of any quarterback in the league. He's 40-17, and that's what's 2 different teams. It's very, very impressive. To me, I would not be upset if I'm a Raiders fan signing Garoppolo to a 2-year contract if they strike out on Aaron Rodgers, which ultimately I think that will end up happening. But Garoppolo 2 for about 45 to me would be a great signing for the Raiders. And I really think this is best case scenario if they strike out on Aaron Rodgers. I like this signing so much. I really think the Raiders should pull the trigger if they strike out on Aaron Rodgers. Another signing here, like I mentioned, the Raiders need help at guard. One of the most underrated guards and really one of the most underrated players heading into free agency is guard Ben Powers. This past season, Ben Powers played over 1,000 snaps and gave up 0 sacks. I don't know why he's not being talked about more as one of the top tier free agents in this, free agency, class and everything. And I feel like he'd be a great way to really boost this offensive line for the Raiders. They need help at guard. In my opinion, he might be the best guard available. He might get more than the 3 for 27 that I have them signing him for. But even if it's like 10 or 11, I feel like you go ahead and pull the trigger here because I think he's one of the more underrated guards in the league. I feel like this would be a great signing for the Raiders here. A couple other signings I have. Like I mentioned, the Raiders need help at linebacker. I have them signing Jermaine Pratt to a 3-year contract worth $33 million, 11 per season. I'm a big Bengals fan, and I feel like Pratt is finally getting into a rhythm here. This last 2 years, he's really stepped up. He was a rookie in 2019. In each of the last 4 seasons, he has improved his tackling total from the year prior. This last 2 years, he's played very, very well. The 2021 season was his breakout year, and you can make a legitimate case that this past season, he played even better than he did in 2021. Each of the last 2 seasons, he's had over 90 tackles. He has 3 interceptions, 3 forced fumbles, and 3 fumble recoveries. He's been a big reason to the Bengals' success. I just don't feel like Cincinnati's going to end up re-signing him. And I feel like the Raiders should take full advantage of a guy like him on the market by sending him to a 3-year deal worth $33 million. So when you start looking at this 3-round mock draft here from PFF, it's very interesting because I know I had them signing Jimmy Garoppolo to a 2-year deal. The way this mock draft went, I still had them paying a quarterback in the first round. They had the 7th pick overall, and I was really surprised that this guy was available here. I had to go ahead and pull the trigger and take him. I took C.J. Stroud, the quarterback of Ohio State. I love this pick. This is an amazing pickup for the Raiders. And I don't feel like this would be terrible here. Maybe Garoppolo starts the first year, and then Stroud takes over the second year. But I know they signed Garoppolo, but a guy like C.J. Stroud, I don't feel like you would have thought this guy would have been available here at 7. even though you signed Garoppolo, I feel like you still have to stick Stroud. Just because you have Garoppolo for the time being doesn't mean you should pass up on a possible franchise quarterback in CJ Stroud. The last 2 seasons, he has over 8,000 passing yards. He has 85 passing touchdowns and just 12 interceptions. This is a great value pick here for the Raiders. To me, with the 7th pick, if you're taking a quarterback and the CJ Stroud's there, you have to take him. If Bryce Young somehow available, you have to take him. Anybody else, to me, Anthony Richardson, Will Levis, some of these guys, I'm not really completely convinced that they're top guys compared to Bryce Young and CJ Stroud. But this is an amazing draft pick here for the Raiders with the 7th selection overall. And then we look at the 2nd round pick. This is also a tremendous value pick here for the Raiders. I said the Raiders need a right tackle. Darnell Wright, the right tackle from Tennessee, is available here with the 38th pick overall. I'm kind of surprised he dropped this far. By the time the draft happens, I think he might even go top 20, maybe top 25. He's rising up draft boards. But this is tremendous value. He's the best player available. He's a team need. Anytime you can do a best player available and a team need in a draft pick, it's pretty much an automatic A-plus pick. And that's exactly what the Raiders do here. A-plus pick and getting Darnell Wright, the right tackle from Tennessee with a 38th pick overall. And like I said, I don't have the Raiders re-signing Josh Jacobs because he's voiced his frustrations about not wanting to play in the franchise tag. And I feel like it's possible he might want to go play somewhere else. So in the 3rd round, I have the Raiders taking a running back here. I had them taking Auburn running back Tank Bigsby. To me, I feel like Tank Bigsby is pretty underrated. He has 540 rushing attempts in his collegiate career, 2,900 rushing yards, over 5.4 yards per carry, and 25 rushing touchdowns. And that's playing in the SEC. I mean, that's very, very impressive. I feel like the Raiders, to find their running back of the future here in the 3rd round, is not a bad idea getting Tank Bigsby. And I know Josh Jacobs had a tremendous season this past year, led to NFL rushing. But pretty much everybody knows running back is the most easiest position to replace in football. So, if you don't re-sign Josh Jacobs, I would expect them to maybe take a running back in the first couple of rounds. But overall, I thought this draft went great for the Raiders. They took CJ Stroud, Darnell Wright, and Tank Bigsby. So kind of looking at this Raiders schedule here, the upcoming 2023 schedule. So based on the moves I did in this video, kind of be predicting the Raiders schedule. So they play the Bears, Broncos, Lions, and Chiefs. I think they win 1, maybe 2 of those games. The Broncos, Chiefs, Chargers, and Patriots. I think they win maybe 2 of those games. The Jets, Packers, Vikings, and Chargers. 2, maybe 3. And then the Dolphins, Bills, Colts, Steelers, and Giants. I think they win 3, maybe even 4 of those games. So to me, when I'm looking at the Raiders this upcoming season, it's interesting because I feel like they can be really good. It's just the fact that they play in the AFC West, a very difficult division to play in. You can make a case that it might be the best division in football right now. It's interesting because, let's say, if you take Garoppolo starting, I feel like this Raiders team will be better this year. But CJ Stroud, he's going to have some growing pains here and there if you take him with the 7th pick. I feel like the Raiders right now will probably be better off starting Garoppolo to me. But I feel like this Raiders team is probably about 9-8 this upcoming season, which isn't bad for a quarterback coming into your system and everything like that, and several new faces on this team. But let me know who you want the Raiders to draft. Who do you want them to sign in free agency? That about does it for this video. If you've seen my videos before or if you're new to the channel, I would really, really appreciate it if you could like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time on the Sports 2 Hines Show.